Learning more about the money used in an unlicensed boarding home in Fort Bend County.
Samantha Morris was arrested Friday on a charge for running a group home without a permit. Investigators say 9 people in the home were found in neglectful condition. The discovery happened after neighbors reported an aggressive dog coming from the home, according to deputies.
KPRC2's Corley Peel joins us live now. She spoke with both the property owner and Morris about this ordeal. Corley.
Samantha Morris tells me she originally signed the lease for her son, his wife, and their children. She does not live at that home, but over...
What? Welcome back to WHAAT TV. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tapping in. Hope your day is going well, man. We got to start off today talking about squatters. Yes. We're going to take a look at a couple stories today, guys. And today, we're going to be locking in on housing all across America, from new cities to shelters being closed to now squatters and people coming together. Because if you don't know, migrant shelters are closing throughout many communities. So therefore, what happens? They're consolidating people, they're getting together, they're renting out small spaces and turn them into big places. Because a lot of people, you could have 20 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. So if you hear that migrant shelters are decreasing, trust me, they're coming together. So people are squatting up and they're renting out other people's places. I mean, things that make you say, what, people? Let me know your thoughts. If somebody goes into your place and rents out your establishment, your property, what would you do, man? We hate to start the day like this, but we have to bring these stories to you because we know many people are facing it. And while a lot of people are going through it hard, man, people are coming together to rent out these places. Things that make you go, what?
Over time, she started taking people in who suffer from mental illness and drug addiction, and she started charging them rent. She says so she could catch up on her own rent. And I asked her on Monday.
Wait, what? She's taking their rent. She doesn't even live at this place. She's taking their money so she could make up for her rent. What?
Addiction, and she started charging them rent. She says so she could catch up on her own rent. And I asked her on Monday if her landlord was aware that she was renting out rooms. She told me yes, but I spoke with that landlord today and he told me a different story. Why didn't you tell the property owner that you were renting out rooms?
It didn't dawn to me to do that. It didn't dawn. It's just that I'm the type that help anybody.
Samantha Morris says she started giving people with mental illness and addiction a place to stay months ago. Her landlord told me on the phone he was surprised to hear she was renting out rooms since she was regularly late on rent payments.
Her lease end of December. So we're just going month to month right now. Because she's been late so many times, we have to always remind her to pay her rent.
Some of the...
Wait. What? This young lady doesn't even live at this property. She's collecting rent, but yet she's late on the rent. And mind you, there are several people living in this location. So is she just taking the profit, taking the money and running? Because we're going to see other stories. People are now making money by subleasing. If they have an establishment, they said, man, we're going to rent it out to 10 people and turn a profit.
End of December. So we're just going month to month right now. Because she's been late so many times, we have to always remind her to pay her rent.
Some of the people that lived out there, the residents we spoke with on Friday, they said they were paying up to $1,100. So where did that money go?
What?
If they was paying $1,100, then they went back on to their clothes, hygiene, taking them to and fro places. That's probably the reason why I started that too, to catch up.
Did you ever pocket that money for personal use?
If you check my account, it's gonna say negative.
What? You're getting $1,100, up to $1,100 from one person, and you're renting out a home to several people. You're renting out these rooms, and you're not turning a profit? You're just doing it for fun? Things that make you go what, man? Things that make you go what, people? So we already saw that's down in Houston, right? Houston, tap in. Texas, tap in. Now we got a situation in the Bronx where a man is renting out his store to migrants. One place could house 80 people while the other can hold about 40 to 50 people. Now he was collecting rent from these people up to $300, $400 per person. Mind you, hear that again. Somebody do the calculation for me. I don't know if that's 12 grand off the top, but how much is that? If you're getting $300 per person for about 40 people, you do the math. Things that make you go what? Are people turning a profit by squatting in these people's residence and renting it out? Taking over stores and just renting out stores to 40, 50 people? Things that make you go
of
what?
businesses in 2 boroughs housing African migrant men. Ibu Sar has been leading the charge.
They don't know where to go.
Sar owns both businesses and leases space at both locations. But city officials say he was housing dozens of migrants in illegal sleeping quarters in Queens and the Bronx. Dozens of beds and cots in tight spaces in the cellars and on the first floors with limited ventilation, exits, and bathrooms. Inspectors also finding e-bikes, space heaters, and hot plates.
We went in and found that there were individuals living in unsafe conditions. And as we would with any New Yorker that we find living in an unsafe condition, we immediately vacated those locations and referred those individuals to additional resources.
The mayor says he was taking advantage of asylum seekers.
I don't know if this was benevolence or was a benefit that he was trying to obtain.
But Sar says the men have been reaching out to him after their 30-day shelter stay, most with nowhere to go but the cold streets.
They're sleeping on the trains and they're giving them tickets. You know, it's just sad. We was taking a donation, $300 donation monthly.
He says at one.
What? Let me let y'all hear that again. $300, a donation, not rent, but a donation, he says. I'm gonna let you add that up. He had two spaces, one in Queens and one in the Bronx. They said the one in Queens had 2 levels, a basement and the first floor entry level. They had bunk beds in there, and it held up to 80 people at one time. If these people are paying $300, I'm gonna let you do the math. Are these people turning a profit? Let me know your thoughts.
$300 donation monthly.
He says at one point he even lived in the Bronx basement. Now he's looking for a better place for them.
Like back home, when you have a store, you can live in your store. You know, that's the way it is over there.
Officials say over 179,000 migrants have gone through the city's system since last spring. Last week, 1,200 alone. With 217 emergency sites and limits on how long they can stay at each, housing everyone has been no easy task.
Wow. Wow. So you see, down in Houston, there's a young lady renting out a house. She's not even paying the landlord his rent money. His money comes late, but yet she's charging people $1,000, $900 just to stay in there, a room. We're talking about, people, a room, not the house, the room within the house. This gentleman in the Bronx and Queens, he's renting out stores. We're not even talking about a house with a proper kitchen and bathroom. We're talking about a store with one bathroom. Things that make you go, what, people? Do you think people are taking advantage and turning a profit?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Off of taking over.
And it becomes a nightmare.
Off of taking other people's
Buying a dream
property?
home turned into...
I'm sorry. Do you think people are turning a profit by squatting and taking over other people's property and misusing it for the purpose that it was not designed for and that they had access for? Because these people, it seems like they're making a pretty penny. Let me know your thoughts.
And it becomes a nightmare. A total nightmare.
Buying a dream home turned into a nightmare. You heard him, for this family from Queens. The house came with something the new owners did not bargain for: a squatter. More than 4 months after purchasing their home, the family says they still can't go inside. And they've faced roadblock after roadblock trying to get the man who is staying there out. Investigative reporter Dan Kraut joins us now with more.
Sandra, the family says they've had no choice but to take the man living inside their home to court. And despite having hearing after hearing, they still haven't been able to move in.
It has just taken over everything.
Susanna and Joseph Landa bought what they thought was their dream retirement home in Douglaston, Queens.
We're looking to hopefully retire, and most of all, provide for my son, Alex, who has Down syndrome. He has a disability.
The new house is right next door to family members.
I just want to know that I can die tomorrow when he's next to his brother.
They signed the deed back in October. And then what happens?
The nightmare begins.
The house came with something unexpected. A man living in their home who they say refuses to leave.
We couldn't believe it. We could not believe it.
His name's Brett Flores.
They cannot come here early when I'm not here. They have keys. They're the owner.
This is what happened when the Landas tried to enter with an insurance inspector. They say Flores called the cops on them, even though they say they gave him 10-day notice.
He wasn't a renter.
What? What? This young man called the cops on the owners. Come on, people. Come on. Like we got to do better. You trying to tell me that you can own a property, and if someone is in said property, they can just take over? Now, this young man said he had rights to the property because he was maintaining the property while the previous owner was there. So he was allowed to live and maintain the property. However, that owner had turned over the property, and I'm not sure if he died, but he turned over, and that property was bought for $2 million. And then now he says he has right to the property because he's been living at this establishment. Things that make you go, what? What would you do? Come on, tell me. If somebody stayed in your property and didn't want to leave, and if you had an issue and you wanted to move in your property, which you're paying taxes and mortgage, if they called the cops on you, what would you do? This is crazy. This is really crazy. Things that make you say what, man? Things that make you say what? They're getting caught calling them. Can't believe it.
When the Landas tried to enter with an insurance inspector, they say Flores called the cops on them, even though they say they gave him 10-day notice.
He wasn't a renter.
Never.
You didn't sign documents that said, we have a tenant.
Correct.
Court documents detail in Flores' own words why he's there. A signed statement says he was hired by the former homeowner as his caretaker, was paid $3,000 a week, and his employment ended in January of last year when the man died. He claims he has a license to stay in the house from the previous owner.
What a lot of people don't realize is in New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
30 days. How can you have rights if you have no lease, you're not paying rent? So what is your right?
Not only has Flores been living there, they claim he listed the home online to rent rooms to other people. The only...
No, wait. What? You think you have rights to this property because you were the caretaker to the previous owner who died? And not only that, to add injury to insult, not only are you staying in someone else's property, but then you think you can there rent out the other rooms and turn a profit? Oh my gosh. Things that make you say what?
So what is your right?
Not only has Flores been living there, they claim he listed the home online to rent rooms to other people. The only way to try and get him out, they're taking him to landlord-tenant court, trying to get him evicted.
We have had already 5 hearings at civil court.
He shows up, no attorney.
If it's not one excuse, is another excuse.
He filed the bankruptcy. So that prevents everything from going forward.
Meanwhile,
what? I mean, we've seen enough. This home goes for $2 million. And he's up there going crazy, putting it up on Airbnb. They're about to have a whole party in there. And the original owners can't even get access in. What rights do you have as an owner? That is crazy. Because if it was me, I mean, what? Things that make you go, what, people? Let me know your thoughts. And tap in, tap in, tap in. We will be looking at some other housing stories today. We're just on a housing trend right now. We're just going crazy in the housing right now. But we do want to let you know, we will be covering the election. I believe that there is an event happening on March 1st. There will be a rally, Trump rally this weekend. We will be covering that live. So people, stream with us, tap in with us, and do the good stuff with us. We're also going to be hosting Super Tuesday, and we will be having the State of the Address by President Joe Biden. We will be streaming it all, having the jokes, having a blast. Listen, you need to tap in. Tap it. Do this, do this, do this. Tap your notification bell. We're out.